There we go.
Hi guys, and welcome to a UPL commentary. I have Aqua with me. Say hi.
Hello.
And today I'm just going to turn off spectators because they are obnoxious. Today we've got Blim versus Serga. Blim is of the devastating Draxius, and Serga is of the real Drizzlers, I believe. I could be wrong on that. I think that's correct. But yeah, they're playing Auras Ubers, otherwise known as the better Ubers.
Otherwise known as peed on everywhere.
I'm a little annoyed at Sun and Moon right now. It's just, I don't know if you watch what I do, but oh, that Draco Meteor miss, that's gonna be.
That just what a way to start. That's not a good way to start.
No, I mean Blim is using Flygon, so.
Flygon. Before it got Dragon Dance, mind you.
Oh yeah, this is
Auras.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Blim, I mean, what's his Arceus form? Because this Salamence could put in work if it's not,
Rock.
well, Rock or really physically defensive Water, which is what I'm thinking it is. But even then, like, if I'm Serga right now, I'm thinking I just fire off a free double edge, and I'm basically just getting massive damage on everything. If it is Rock, then...
Yeah, but...
I don't know if it would be Rock on this team, though.
Well, there's only... Well, it's probably going to be something that can handle flying type attacks.
I mean, it should be something that can handle flying type attacks, but I'm not thinking it's Arceus Water just because he's got the Flygon for the defog.
Yeah.
I suppose he could have made it a normal Arceus Water with just like Ice Beam, Judgment, Toxic Recover.
I mean, it could also. I mean, both of them could actually have defog. I mean, Blim is running a Ho-Oh and a Yveltal, so.
Hang on, say that last one again.
It's running a Ho-Oh and Y Bacon.
Why bacon? Okay, that's better.
It looks like bacon.
Yeah, that's a lot better than whatever the pronunciation you just said was.
Okay, good point, good one. I'll stick with Y Bacon. Anyways,
so that Mence gets paralyzed. If it's Facade, then at least it can break stuff. But I mean,
otherwise it's gonna look fun for the Mence.
I mean, on this team, I imagine it would be Facade just because
It is, and Blim's running Water CS.
It was Water CS, yeah. So I imagine this is Judgment Ice Beam. But, I mean, it was pretty obvious that it was going to be Facade because just look at Serga's answer to Ho-Oh.
Yeah, it's Mence, isn't it?
It kind of has to be Mence, and that kind of means it has to be quite above Mence as well. Also, I feel like that Facade damage is not that of an Adamant Mence. It might just be that my memory of Auras is fading, but I think that that's not fully invested.
Nah. Again, it's the Ho-Oh check. It probably wants a bit of physical bulk, anyways.
Well, how does Serga keep rocks off here? Keep rocks up even here. I mean, he could go Xerneas. If this is double defog, he can just defog here. But if he goes Xerneas, then Blim can just go out into Blissey with relative ease.
Yeah. It's a. I guess the best thing to try is if you lead with Zern and attempt to double to, like, I don't know, Deoxys maybe?
Deoxys to try and catch the Blissey. No, not Mence, because then the Arceus can just 100% of the time come in on it and recover until it gets fully paralyzed.
Yeah, like double, like hopefully double Deoxys into Blissey. But even
if he goes into Xerneas here, which is what I think he should do, just trying to bait in the Blissey, and then doubles into Deoxys attack, he's running the risk of maybe Blim just saying, well, because Blim is obviously Blim, he is one of the best Ubers players of all time, and he might know, okay, even if this Geomancies, I can handle it, I've got a Pedon that isn't really doing anything for the rest of this game, and I've still got a Blissey, I've got a Ho-Oh if I can get rid of these rocks, I'm just gonna see if you want to double and just Judgment. And even if you do, if you're something like Block, you wouldn't be Block on this team though, you need more offensive presence. Then it's fine. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Well, something's gonna have to happen first.
I mean, yeah, Blim. Given that this is the first moment of breath we've had in the entire game, I'll take it. For those who are watching who are perhaps newer to the Uber scene, Blim is very, very well known as one of the outright best Ubers players, point blank, of all time. Peaking in SBL 5, or was it SBL 4? SBL 5, right?
I have no idea.
SBL 5, where he went to something like an 8-2 record or something.
Oh, no, Serga brought out, it's an E-killer.
I mean, he goes for SD as Blim goes for Wisp.
Okay, didn't see that one coming.
I was literally about to say Toxic, and then he went for Wisp, and Jesus, man, Blim is taking no prisoners here.
No survivors.
As he goes into this is going to be
refreshy killer.
But if
boy,
if he's gone into this, it's going to be Fizz Death.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, if you're Serga here, do you go into Xerneas? I mean, you kind of have to.
Oh yeah, you kind of have to.
So Blim just goes for the foul play. He's kind of weak to that refresh zone, in all honesty. Not refresh zone, refresh Arceus. Because...
Oh no, and there's the double.
And there is the double into Groudon this time. I really wish this had a chance to... Ooh, another double.
Oh.
In catching the Flygon, very, very nice. I mean,
there we go. There's the double.
I mean, it does nothing that just hard doubling into Deoxys on the Blissey would have done anyway. Although I guess maybe you were scouting for perhaps like Oblivion Wing or Taunt on your Veltal, and no, you wouldn't. Maybe he was just making Piedon as the safe play in case Blim decided to be hyper aggressive, basically, is what I was trying to say. Because Blissey can't touch Deoxys, so...
No.
That's the first kill on Serga's side, but I still think that, honestly, I think that Blim has a quite big advantage here. If he can handle that Arceus, then I don't think he will lose the game. But equally, that Arceus is the threatening Arceus to his team, because with the refresh...
I mean, you can't just burn it. You can't just burn it and start laughing. It'll recover. It'll shake the burn off.
And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Yveltal, after that rocks damage, is now in range of something like a +2
E-speed.
E-speed. It can't live. Can it live an Ice Beam from here? I think. I mean, it probably can.
I'm about to find out. Give me a moment.
I'm just thinking, if you catch Yveltal and switch him with Deoxys, if it's HP invested, you don't kill with Ice Beam, I'm pretty sure. So, given that it's at -2 special attack...
The Life Orb set, right?
Yeah, this is Life Orb, as he does switch out into Xerneas, as does Blim Roost. Blim does Roost. Okay, so he's played that well. Serga here probably should double into his Arceus.
No, just went for the buff.
See, that's just very, very passive in my opinion. Like, I guess he gets Deoxys attacking again.
Yeah.
As he actually chooses to go into Salamence first. Fire off a Facade, I guess. As Arceus Water will always come out on this thing. As Deoxys attack comes out. This will kill. It's a roll of about 80% min, so...
But, yeah, no, something's gonna have to eat a Psycho Boost to the face. If he switches into Y-Bacon, it'll actually... You can just fire off Ice Beam next turn and take it out. It's at low enough HP.
The only issue with that might be that Serga would be fearing
the Bacon is Sucker Punch, right?
Yeah, so I think that Serga here just goes into Xerneas.
No, but no, there's Toxic.
Ooh, that's... I honestly think that Blim is at a disadvantage now. Like, my opinion has completely shifted. Serga's played this quite well, and he's using he's using the threat of Arceus very well as well, in my opinion. He's not playing that aggressively with it, but he's wearing down the things that can individually check it.
Yep.
And like with refresh, if this bacon goes down, then that Arceus wins. So Blim has to play extremely well. But equally,
Yeah.
if there's one dude that we know will probably play extremely well,
It's Blim.
yeah, because he's, I mean, maybe not anymore, but he's at his peak. He was at least as good as people like Hack are today. So
Yeah.
and that's being unkind to Blim as well, in my opinion. Like, I've seen the replays. I wasn't around personally, but I've seen the replays, and at his peak, I think that there is no one better than him. So past the peak now, unfortunate. As
Yeah.
I'm giving props to Serga for playing well and
Or pushing Blim into a corner like that.
but equally, I think that he's playing his Xerneas too passively. He's attacking the Y-God every time. And, I mean, yeah, that's a good play on Blim's part, because now it's mind games again. Does he go for the Sucker Punch? Does he go for the Roost? But if you're Blim here, you go for Sucker if you have it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Blim went for the Roost.
I don't know if Blim is just Bluff God, or if he's just playing incredibly. As Rest, oh my days, Serga. Did someone leak Blim's team? What the hell?
Oh no! Oh no! It's a rest Xerneas. This is gonna.
I'm kidding about.
I'm really sorry for Blim.
I am kidding about did someone leak Blim's team. This is a pretty known team. I'm fairly certain it's an Outrage team. But it's just the fact that Serga has three of the things which just completely fist the team. That being the Refresh Ecola, Rest Xerneas, and Deoxys attack in general. So I actually think the Blim there probably could have switched into Flygon, because the Sleeping Zern, yeah, I don't think he was going for Sleep Talk in that situation. He doesn't want to waste his PP. And I think that he could have gone to Flygon to try and defog so that Ho-Oh can start doing things, because Serga's... That's Blim's path to victory, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because Serga's team does not deal brilliantly with Ho-Oh at all, and... I mean, he's lost his only flying resist, so Brave Bird can actually do damage, especially with Salaman's paralyzed. I feel like the HP on Blissey was not so important that you couldn't go into Flygon there, because I don't think that the way Serga's been playing with the Xerneas, it was staying in.
Yeah. No.
It feels so good to finally be able to confidently talk about a game. Like, Sun and Moon, what is this set? What is this set? What is this set? What is this set? What is this set?
What's everyone using? OS. Oh, I think we have a good idea of what's happening.
Ooh, server's restarting.
It's better.
Ooh, that didn't kill. That's
definitely a defensive meds.
Yeah, like if that was offensive. I mean, Blim knows from the damage with his Arceus, because we obviously don't know its Arceus spread. There's a number of speed tiers it could reach.
Yeah. But if there's any doubts about what Ments built, there's no doubt anymore.
No, like if it's doing that little to a Flygon, it is defensive. So he just got the full para. If you're Serga here, like you go into Xerneas, you don't just sack off Salamence.
Yeah.
But no rocks means that Blim has a much...
Can now finally switch in Ho-Oh a lot more now.
Yeah, like Ho-Oh should now be the immediate answer to Xerneas, because Blissey cannot deal with a resting Xerneas.
Yeah, too much. And now, so basically now Serga needs to actually get rid of Ho-Oh if he wants to stand a good chance.
And Blim's not going to play the Ho-Oh that aggressively either. Like he knows that Ho-Oh is the Xerneas answer.
He's gonna play Ho-Oh relatively safely.
The only... This is a nitpick, because I can understand completely why he did it and would have made the exact same play there. But in hindsight, I think resting with the Zern, revealing his spread when he had a lot of turns where Toxic could rack up before he could reveal it, might be costly in the game, because if Blim thought that his Blissey could check it, he might not have been so aggressive with defogging with Flygon.
Yeah. Oh, Flygon's got U-turn.
Yeah, Flygon used U-turn, but Blim can just recover, and
Yeah.
odds are in his favor that he won't die in this 1v1. So,
Just thinking I'll coil it off.
as Pedon comes in, what do you reckon this is? Like, Serga's team is such a counter outrage team, in my opinion. Like, he's got, I imagine that's, oh, it's Toxic and Wisp, okay.
Dual status. Okay.
But I mean, the stuff like I imagine that's SD Pedon, Rest Zern, Refresh E-Killer. Like, this is such an outrage counter style.
And yet somehow it's still just breaking even right now.
I think that's on Blim's strength as a player, because now with the rocks not on the field,
You can finally use Ho effectively.
not only that, but your Veltol can't get chipped down nearly so easily, and it's only ever really coming in versus this and the Deoxys.
Yeah.
And even Deoxys now, he's got a sack if he needs it in the form of Blissey.
Yeah, that too.
Because Blissey doesn't check anything unless that's like Eruption, Primal Groudon. But even then, he's still got Ho-Oh, he's still got Flygon, so...
Yeah.
Unless there's some wacky Rock Polish, Fire Blast, Rock Slide, HPI set that I'm just not aware of and would be a good set. Side note to anyone listening, that would not exist.
Extreme counter teaming. That's extreme counter teaming right there.
If he reveals that set, I'm calling it Blim's team got leaked, so... very, very nice play on Blim's part, predicting the switch into Xerneas and bringing in Ho-Oh to just fire off a Brave Bird, presumably.
Yeah. Now Blim can just pressure Sir. Oh, there goes Salamence.
I mean, yeah, that's Salmon's dead. The crit didn't matter, it would have just stayed in and Brave Bird did the next turn as well. But you're not staying in here.
I think that's a banded Ho-Oh.
Given that that was the Ho-Oh answer, but it did a crit, so I don't know.
Well, look, neither Life Orb nor Leftovers kicked in.
True. That is actually a very good point. That probably is banded Ho-Oh. I've forgotten this team. I used to know it, but I've forgotten it now. There's no other item you'd run on Ho-Oh if it's not Life Orb or Lefties. It would be banned.
Yeah.
So here in Blim's position, just Flygon. It covers SD. It covers SD with Groudon. If it's Rock Polish, then he has got the Arceus Water that can deal with it. And if it SDs and doesn't get up the +2 speed, then Yveltal can answer it. So
Yeah.
Alternatively, you call the bluff, but I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. No.
I definitely would not risk. Ho-Oh is Blim's win con. He's not going to risk it here.
Yeah.
But equally, if this is Double Dance Pedon, which it kind of looks like it is, in my opinion, it could be threatening if Serga clicks the right move here, which in my opinion would be Rock Polish. Because if it's Double Dance, he can Rock Polish and proceed.
Well, there's Rock Slide.
Rock Slide. Okay. No Double Dance set that I'm aware of uses Rock Slide. Oh, Paradance, of course.
Well, you can't pair that. We can't pair a Flygon.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole that's the whole premise of using Flygon in the first place. The fact that it completely counters Paradance Pedon. So he just roosts here, and life is fun and good for Blim again.
Yeah.
Presumably Serga goes into Deoxys attack, but then Blim can just sack off the Blissey, and
Put something else in.
Yeah, I mean, then life is fine. I mean, with regards to Deoxys attack, I'm pretty sure that Ho-Oh also checks it now that rocks are off the field. Unless it's Rockslide Deoxys attack, which again, again in Oras, that's just not a thing. You need Ice Beam. It's shown it's Psycho Boost already. You kind of need Superpower. You kind of need Extreme Speed. You kind of need Knockoff. There's no room for Rockslide. I've just listed 5 moves it kind of needs. So
next thing you know.
One of the things that really pisses me off is when I see people using Deoxys attack as a suicide lead. It's just
Seriously?
it's just such a waste of a good Deoxys.
That's true.
I mean, I know that it's a common, like, not common, but it's got results backing it up. I just really dislike it conceptually. As he does go into Flygon on the he does go into Deoxys attack on the Flygon's roost. So Blissey here, Blissey 100% of the time. Yeah, I mean, Blim. I think the fact that Facade did that little to Flygon back on the turn that Flygon came in on Mens now just means that Blim wins.
Yeah.
Because there's no long-term counterplay to Banded Ho-Oh. Every time it comes in on a sleeping Xerneas, it just picks up a kill.
Going to take a lot of damage.
And if it ever comes in on stuff like Deoxys after a kill, something again is just getting to it KO'd. And if it's fast banned, which I love personally, why?
And what? Arceus?
I mean, that was still useful. Well, that was still useful. Blissey isn't.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, if it's Psych up Blissey, then I'll retract that statement. But it's not Psych up Blissey. He could go into Ho-Oh here, but he just doesn't want to take the knockoff.
Yeah, getting knocked off would not be fun.
But
no, he went to Ho-Oh.
No, Ho-Oh's okay, just because, like, even if it does get knocked off, it means that Deoxys is dead, and then he has 1-for-1 a counter to Serga's 3 remaining mons.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can actually understand why Blim is doing this, although in his position I would 100% of the time go for EQ. I am not risking a crit or something, meaning I die to Brave Bird Recoil. And by that I mean like a crit knockoff for anyone watching.
Oh.
A crit knockoff putting it in range of dying to recoil is what I meant.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, what? I can't chat in this fucking...
Servers will start soon. They better hurry it up. Good thing they're not running stall v stall.
Yeah. Spectators no longer nod.
Yeah.
This is, without a doubt, the best perk of being Global Voice. The ability to talk in mod-chatted battles.
Next thing you know, you end up getting Global Drive, and the best perk of that becomes being able to redirect people who you want.
I'm not getting Global Driver, ever.
No, but...
They don't like me.
It's the thought that counts.
Nah. Head game not strong enough. Oh, there's gonna be someone again. That highlight in the Uber's room is annoying me, so... Poe just highlighted me.
Bogus!
I asked him to join, but he didn't want to for some reason.
Yeah.
Serga's only got 2 minutes left. It pains me that I have to say that out loud. He's only got 2 minutes to make a decision. But I can understand why he's taking this long, because... I mean, another highlight.
Oh, no.
No, there's the knockoff. And
I was right, it was choice band.
It did not crit. Yeah, choice band makes sense. But now Blim wins? Question mark. Is there... I don't think there's a chance that Blim doesn't win here.
Yeah. Y Bacon's still healthy, so it can still stop E-Killer if it has to.
I mean, if it's Jolly Band, which it could be, maybe, then Rest Xerneas maybe could win.
And here comes Speed on.
But now it's a simple matter for Blim. He just switches between Flygon, Yveltal, and Ho-Oh until he wins.
Yeah.
Purges is saying that the knock was pretty good, but it means that Deoxys is dead, which is the only one that Blim can't one-for-one wall. So I don't know if I would say that the thing was good. Because here Flygon just fires off an Earth Power and just hurts something.
Yeah.
And all damage on Serga's end, aside from Xerneas, is now permanent.
Well, yeah.
Like, Pidon, it's not going to be rest Pidon on this team. And if this is recover, refresh, E-Killer, then I'm just quitting.
Recover, refresh, swords dance, and roar.
Blim actually chooses to U-turn there. He does still have Blissey as an attack, obviously, but I don't agree with U-turning in that situation. I think that it was just safe to fire off an Earth Power as he goes hard into Xerneas. Oh, I wonder if this is block.
Oh, yeah, that might actually be a good point.
Just from the way that he played that, just hard switching it in on the Blissey, I kind of feel like it might be block rest as opposed to a sleep talk, because he's not revealed sleep talk yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's block, then he choked earlier.
Yeah.
Because that was it was in against the Blissey and could have just blocked it and then rested, and then.
No, it's sleep talk.
No, okay then. But now Blim just Sacred Fires, or just Brave Birds. I think Brave Bird. Yeah.
One of those.
Brave
One of
Bird.
those is Brave Bird.
Yeah.
Now Arceus is in a bad position.
Dude, we've not seen the Arceus if it's Life Orb or not, have we?
Has it? Hang on a moment.
It hasn't
Just give me
attacked. It hasn't attacked. I've just looked. It hasn't.
Alright, yeah, to check if it has.
No, it hasn't. And yeah, this is just going to be a matter of Blim rotating between Ho-Oh and the thing that Ho-Oh needs to switch out into. Ho-Oh and Flygon now, although now he can just go into Yveltal against the Piedon, and if it's SD and it ever sets up, Yveltal can, or he can save it in the back rather. Like he can go into Flygon, and then if it ever sets up to like +6 or something and becomes an actual problem, he can just deal with it. And Flygon will outspeed Xerneas, can U-turn. Yeah, Blim cannot lose here. I mean, especially if he manages to U-turn when Serga decides to go into Xerneas, because then that's just a free Brave Bird. Blim played this exquisitely.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought he was so far behind when the rocks were up.
And he turned it around.
Yeah, equally, I think that going into Facade Mence was perhaps a misplay on Serga's end, as he does get off the Toxic eventually, and it doesn't actually have Earth Power. I forgot this set. But now it can just literally just U-turn, and then into Blissey, and then back into this, and then U-turn again ad nauseum, and he wins. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I guess Serga's hope is that maybe he can try and set up with Xerneas on this Flygon. Because he's used the 2 Sleep Talks now, he can just Geomancy. And then Ho-Oh has to take a couple of boosted Moonblasts in order to beat it. But at the same time, Blim still does have the Blissey, which can force the Xerneas into resting. And then if Ho-Oh gets in the opportunity to just fire off attacks against a sleeping Xerneas, then it's just happy. So. The lack of roost on Ho-Oh, though, that's actually going to come in to annoy Blim a lot.
Yeah.
Because that means that Serga does have a chance, even if it is a kind of small one.
Yeah.
Why are a lot of people leaving? No one...
They probably see it as already over.
Yeah, but that's a lot of people just leaving.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he U-turns into Flygon to taunt, perhaps? Have we seen taunt on Flygon? I don't think we have. Flygon? I mean Yveltal. Jesus. It's 1 o'clock in the morning here, so forgive me. Blissey. Okay, so yeah. Just hard into her? Or do you soft boil first? No, hard into her, yeah. Geomancy, as Blim presumably goes for Sacred Fire.
No, he went for Brave Bird.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Actually, no, looking at that damage, that's pretty safe.
That's not even banded.
No, he just goes into Flygon, and then if Xerneas rests, he can just U-turn back into the Ho-Oh. If Xerneas goes for the Sleep Talk and gets the Moonblast, then Ho-Oh is fine. And if Xerneas doesn't, then it just means that Flygon is kept as a sack for the same situation later on again. It's literally fine. How much did that Moonblast do just like 2 turns ago?
Oh, about 40% of its health.
42. So Ho-Oh is definitely out of range of 1 Moonblast. So next turn, I believe he definitely goes for the Sacred Fire. He doesn't want to risk choking by going for Brave Bird.
Yeah.
And then he can see if Xerneas does roll not Moonblast, if it rolls Sleep Talk or something, then he can just go for Brave Bird the next turn.
Yeah.
As he doesn't even go for the Sleep Talk there. I'm not sure quite why. Because Blim definitely just goes for Sacred Fire here. He doesn't choke. Why is everyone... this is why I turned off joins in the first place. As your Sleep Talks a rest, so it doesn't even matter because Blim can just click... Oh... I'm thinking Serga's play here is to go for rest as Ho-Oh goes for Brave Bird and then try and go off rolls on that situation. But saying that, Blim's best play here in my opinion is just the Sacred Fire again. In anticipation of the toss build.
Like it's going out of stuff.
Yeah, no, he made the right play. Because now Xerneas has to roll Moonblast twice in order to win, and if it doesn't roll this the first time, then Blim literally can't lose. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that Brave Bird did this much to it already. 59%. Do you reckon that's a roll? Looking at Sacred Fire being 42 odd.
Probably is a roll.
No. I was gonna calc, but I don't want to look away from the game because this has actually been really good. Serga's actually been making a lot of really good plays as he goes for the rest, which means he cannot win. And actually, if he rolled Sleep Talk, if he Sleep Talks a Moonblast here, he still wins.
Huh.
Okay, I'm just turning off spectators because that's getting really annoying to me.
He's only used Sleep Talk. Wait.
He's used Sleep Talk once, but because it was a roll, yeah, Blim's better play there, in my opinion, was going for the Sacred Fire. As he goes hard into Flygon, does Serga roll? He rolls rest. Okay, so here you go for U-turn as Serga goes for rest, and we're starting this whole thing over again.
Yeah.
At least Ho-Oh is now gaining back the health, so has another rest.
Now Brave Bird will kill.
Yeah, like this is like my Sleep Talk rolls. Brave Bird does kill, and Blim picks up the 3rd win of Uber's Premier League. like the Draxius and the Drizzlers have been seriously no Johnning, and I'm loving it. But yeah, that was a really, really well played game on Blim's end, and I think that Serga kind of messed up by giving the Flygon the opportunity to defog. But aside from that, I think that he played really quite well, and actually, if he got more favourable Sleep Talk rolls, had a chance to win in that late game. So
yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Aqua, for joining me.
You're welcome.
And I'll see you all next time. Peace. I have just been forcefully reminded that this is not in fact a best of 1 series, and it is in fact best of 3. So, this is game 2 of Serga v Blim. Fuck's sake. I literally left the call with Aqua forgetting completely that there were multiple games, and that's annoying because he was making it a lot more fun to be with. It's more fun when there's other people with you. Now, Blim has brought HO, but the bad variant with Blaziken over Salamence. And Serga has brought pretty standard Excadrill HO. But the fact that this is screens, Blim has the matchup, as Blim really well predicts the Excadrill to come in there. I don't think you're going for Taunt on the Groudon fearing Rock Polish when you have got dual screens on your side of the field. And here he can go out into, I would personally choose E-Killer, just because I feel like it does a number to Serga's team. Alternatively, he could just try and... No, I wouldn't set up my rocks here, because while breaking the Sash on Excadrill is nice, it can just Rapid Spin, and if it stays in, then it's just a kind of a waste of a Reflect and Light Screen turn. Yeah, he goes into Darkrai here. Darkrai is a decent option because obviously with the Reflect up, it's not taking nearly as much from the EQ as it normally would. But here, I think he has to go for Dark Pulse, otherwise the Mewtwo can just come in on it for free. You definitely don't want to go for Hypnosis here because that would just be a waste of a move if the Mewtwo decide to come in, and that gives Serga some playing room. He can go out into Xerneas instead of the Mewtwo, knowing that there's basically no way that this Darkrai goes for Dark Void here. That way you can easily chew up the Dark Pulse, and then you can make a mind game there. Do you go into the Mewtwo predicting the Sludge Bomb or the Hypnosis, as he does choose to go into Xerneas, as Blim does go for the Dark Pulse. And now it's a matter of, do you go into Mewtwo predicting one of the two moves that would hit Xerneas, or perhaps just a Thunder, or even, well, I mean, if he switches into Pedon, then the correct play would be going into Excadrill, because it would finally mean that you get up your rocks. But obviously Excadrill doesn't like the potential of being taken on by Darkrai, so equally, I actually think, the more I think about it, the more I think that Serga's play here is to go into Excadrill. It can take anything that this Darkrai goes for, and if Blim doesn't go hard into Deoxys S, which I don't think he would because of the threat of Geozern, then it's relatively, as no, Serga stays in, that's a bad play. I know that that's now just a dead Darkrai against a team with an Excadrill, but just trust me, that was not a good play. He could have gotten so much more use out of the Xerneas if he'd just played it a bit more conservatively, tried to keep it at full or near enough full so he could take on things like the Blaziken much better. And now, honestly, now, if Blim goes into his own Xerneas and is faster, I don't think he can lose. I mean, Reflect only has one more turn remaining, so I guess that's the issue there. But it's so... Xerneas being that weak is so bad for Serga, that I'm honestly kind of just upset about it, because, yeah. Alternatively, if you're Serga, you might choose to go out into Blaziken here, just as a way of, well, first of all, killing off the Xerneas, potentially getting the Mega with the Blaziken, if it's Adamant, for example, such that it can just protect. No, it doesn't even. No, I don't think the Blaziken is the play. I think that the play is either Deoxys or your own Xerneas in Blim's position here. So this is going to be a long video, and only half of it is with someone else, so sorry about that. Just give me a second, I'll see if I can find anyone who wants to join. As Blim does actually choose to go out into Blaziken, I don't really think the Blaziken was the play there. What the fuck? Oh my god. But hang on, that means regular Moonblast wouldn't have killed anyway. What the fuck? He can just go straight for the anything here. Flare Blitz, knockoff. Knockoff, okay. That's actually kind of interesting as well. +2 speed, +2 attack. Excadrill still has its sash, which is its saving grace, and the reason that Serga doesn't just literally lose to something like Groudon if it's Baton Pass Blaziken. And even just this Blaziken, it's kind of a threat, because that, to me, that does not look like a normal calc. That looks a bit like it's bulk invested Blaziken. You know what? I'm gonna calc that. I'm just gonna. There's no. Oh fuck! Oh fuck! No, I don't want golf. Blaziken Mega versus Xerneas Moonblast. Wow, that did so little. Aura Standard is higher. That's more of a new spread, but how much did it do? That might have been literally a min roll, but I don't know if I think that is a min roll. Regardless, Blaziken could attack here, break the Excadrill sash, but no, if he wants to. Actually, no, that makes sense, because then after that he can just go out into his eco and just kill it off. Yeah. HOVHO is kind of just annoying in Oras. I don't like commentating it that much because every turn is just a mind game, and I don't think it's that skillful in HOVHO matchups. But yeah, now he can go out into his E-Killer and just proceed to E-Speed here. You don't go for anything else, you don't risk being toxic or anything, and I'm very surprised at this Excadrill set. Like, a lot of them don't run Earthquake. A lot of them run Spin, Rock Tomb, Toxic, and Stealth Rock. Just because that's kind of the set that it needs. So I'm very surprised that it does have Earthquake. Although the way he was playing it made it, well, obviously it made it look like he had Earthquake and he had Earthquake. But I don't know, because that team is really quite weak to something like a setup Mence, and if it's not weak to setup Mence, then it's weak to Defog Arceus Water. Because either you're giving up Rock Tomb or you're giving up Toxic, both of which are kind of necessary so you don't lose to one of those two, in terms of keeping up your rocks in the game. It is 1:30 in the morning. I really hope that they're not going to take this long with every play. I have things to do tomorrow. Wow, that is an adamant. Okay. Okay. That's an adamant E-killer, which makes sense because it is behind screens, but he didn't go for E-speed there, he went straight for the sword stance. I think Serga made the right play there, just going for the toxic, start wearing this thing down, and then you have chip damage for it. You might have Arceus Ghost on this team, so if he does have it, then that was just a really, really good play. Because obviously if he does have it and you can go hard into it, then it would make a little bit of it, then that would be a literally good play, whereas if it's something like an E-killer, which it obviously could very easily be given this team's lack of Xerneas answers, then in that situation it wasn't a play, it was just the best move. I'm not certain if I'm just talking shit basically, but Toxic was a play if he has Ghostius, and just a normal move if he doesn't have Ghostius. Very surprised to see no just normal E-speed from Blim's end that last turn, because that would have prevented rocks for the rest of the game, and would have prevented spin from the rest of the game as well. He could have gone hard into his Deoxys, set up his rocks after setting up his screens, and then just started wrecking face. So yeah, I kind of think I disagree with not E-speeding there. Equally though, I can understand the SD play, as he goes for EQ and gets a crit as Blim sword dances again. But if this Excadrill outspeeds the Arceus, then the Ray could outspeed the Arceus, and it is Arceus Ghost. That was just really well played on Serga's end. Just genuinely very, very well done, and very impressive. The crit sucks, because now Arceus is in range of Break, whereas before it was a roll. But it didn't matter unless that was Resto Chesto E-killer. So I think Blim loses this game. Yeah. He still has chances, particularly if he sets up a Reflect and then goes out into his Xerneas. That is the big chance that he has. But I don't know if I would say that he is likely to win the game now. No, I know that I would say that he is not likely to win the game now. He obviously still can. I had him behind in the last game, but I find it less likely in this scenario than I did when he had to defog with Flygon. Blim is bringing some weird shit. Like, first of all, he brings Flygon with Banded Ho-Oh. And I mean, I understand that completely. It's just that Flygon in particular is not normally a mon that you would see in this sort of context. And then in this game, he decides to bring a Blaziken variant of the classic HO, which I think just kind of makes it worse, because Salamence adds the defensive solidity versus things like Arceus Ghost, versus things like opposing Salamence, like opposing E-killer, and Blaziken just doesn't do that. I guess that given that it's dual screens, it kind of works, but not well in my opinion. As we do see Rapid Spin from the Excadrill, it is now taunted, and oh, okay. Well, Blim just messed up. Why did he rock there? He should have taunted. That was a misplay. I mean, I guess no, that was just a misplay. As Groudon Rock Polish is up, taking 34% from the Earthquake. If this is mixed Rock Polish, it has got a chance to win, as we don't see anything from Precipice Blades. That means basically nothing, aside from the fact he does not have Fire Punch. But equally here, he could just go for Hidden Power Ice on the Rayquaza, having bluffed not having a more accurate move than Precipice Blades last turn. Which is something I'm honestly half expecting, But no, we do see Stone Edge as it is Sash Ray, and Draco Meteor does not kill due to the fact that there is a light screen up, and Reflect lasts one more turn, so E-Speed will not kill either. The one even come close to killing? Wow, it did 16% normally. And Arceus Ghost's E-Speed, that's not doing much, so I think Blim might have just pulled this back. What? How? What? Help. I think that EQing the Groudon was the wrong play, in all honesty. I think that the better way to go about it was Toxicking first and then going for EQ to prevent it from going for just, you know, SD or something. And then you can just try and play mind games with things like Rayquaza and your Arceus. Given that Arceus can easily take a single Precipice Blades, I think Serga misplayed that quite badly. EQ was, well, it was nice to get damage. The only way it was a winning play was if he crit. I mean, Reflect is up, so he can just go for a Shadow Claw here, as he actually uses go for SD, so he has E-Speed as well. But Serga wins, okay, so yay, I guess. Don't really know what else to say in that, because yeah, this game is a bit weird in my opinion. I don't think either played it very optimally. Although, given that he does have E-Speed and the fact that he SD'd there, it makes more sense than before. But I still don't think that was the best way to try and handle that Pedon. But it worked, so I mean, I guess I can't really say anything bad about it. And yeah, there's no way that Xerneas can beat the combination of Mewtwo Y plus Groudon plus this Arceus, which is just about to wreck its face. If it's sub, actually, maybe it could. Because if it's sub, it subs here, just goes for a Moonblast, and then Groudon comes out, and it would need to crit Focus Blast. It would need to be sub, Focus Blast, Moonblast, and Geomancy, but technically there is a Xerneas set which would win. Or could win, rather. If not would. But unless he subs, I mean, the Shadow Force is just killing. It is sub. That's a threat. Oh, reveal. Come on. Do it. Just reveal the set and crit the Focus Blast. I don't even care that it would be so hacksy and so undeserved. It would just be so funny that I want it to happen. As E-Speed does 38%, he goes into Groudon. He could still also miss Precipice Blades, which would also give Blim the victory, but well, that's what Blim's going for. The Precipice Blades miss, and he does not get it, so Blim loses game 2. So Serga wins game 2. Based on that damage from Moonblast, Focus Blast might have just outright killed. So yeah, let's just wait for game 2. Okay, it's been 10 minutes and I'm falling asleep, so I'll just do the replay in the morning. Hope you guys enjoy. And here is game 3. I've literally just woken up and found the replay. It's a shame that I couldn't record this one live, but I've not seen this replay and I've put it on slow, as you can see, so I can try and give my opinion as if it was live. But I don't know the result. I've not looked. I've still got the page unviewed as well, so no spoilers, and I've not even checked Discord really, so yeah. Serga has brought a pretty standard looking Klefki balance build, and Blim has brought something a little bit weirder, the Klefki Lugia, and on the same team as Primal Kyogre and Gengar. It works because this is a team that's pretty much based around statusing things for Hex Gengar to come through, but equally, well, normally on these teams you would use Ho-Oh over something like Lugia just so you can try and spread burns more effectively and have more offensive presence. But I guess Blim was just slightly concerned about his matchup against E-Killer, and Kyogre, the team does have a few ways to pressure Groudon, and it does have a solid Groudon counter, so I can understand why he's going with Kyogre, and honestly, Serga is quite weak to that Kyogre as well, but at the same time, like what happened in the last game, there is just, not last game, but the first game actually, the Ho-Oh on Serga's end of the field is just looking incredibly threatening. He needs everything weakened by about 30% before it can just start wrecking face. But stuff like the Lugia can't reliably counter it due to Sacred Fire burns. Kyogre, even if it's Fizz Def, if it's at 60% or so, it will just drop. The Arceus could be a Arceus that could take on Ho-Oh, but given the Kyogre is on the team, it's almost certainly not Waterseus, because that comes with its own heap of problems. It could be Dragseus, but I don't know, in all honesty. And meanwhile, Serga has got the Scarfland OT, something I like a lot in Oras. It doesn't have that great of a matchup here though, just due to the Lugia. As Serga does try and just lead off with the Ho-Oh. Oh wow, that is so slow. Just to try and, well, basically do what I said. He's going to go into Groudon, but this is a free chance for Blim to either Ice Beam or Toxic, depending on what he has. As he has got the Toxic, as I thought, it was for Hex Gengar, the original draft of this team, which is kind of based on a Gunner idea. It is actually Arceus Water. I don't know how I feel about that. It opens up a lot of exploitable holes in the team. Serga just decides to T-Wave the Arceus. I don't think that was necessarily the best call of action, just because of, well, basically, now Arceus is forever slower than the Leapedon. It's nice that you can paralyze it and you might be able to wear it down that way, but at least when you were not paralyzed, you had the chance of just spamming rocks, when you, not now, but when you were lower on in the game, and the Arceus couldn't reliably prevent them because you're slower than it, you'll die to Toxic and you'll go last, so yeah. Equally though, I don't think he should have had that Toxic damage on Groudon. He shouldn't have taken it. He should have just seen the Arceus Water, gone out into Klefki, just, yeah, fire off either a Spike. I think I would go for a Spike in that situation because you're not staying in with Arceus on a Klefki. And I think that's what he's going to do here. But the extra Toxic damage just means that it's a lot easier for Kyogre to eventually try and break through the team. Because, as I said, Serga's answer to Kyogre is pretty much limited to that Groudon. As Blim goes into Kyogre here, as we see a Spike, we do. And I guess here he can try and go into Groudon, but Blim predicts that and just goes hard into Arceus. Honestly, the Arceus doesn't even fear the Klefki anymore, either. It can just defog pretty freely all the time. And if this is Judgment Arceus, which it might be, I'm trying to figure out what move it would have. It could have a Judgment or it could have Ice Beam, but he does have Judgment, okay. I wasn't thinking Ice Beam just because of Lugia, but Judgment is a bit weird because it's also got Kyogre on the same team, so that's basically why I was a little bit confused with the team makeup there. As we see that Klefki he's willing to sack off his Klefki for this Spike, and goes hard into Ho-Oh, predicting the defog very, very nicely. Ho-Oh can now break through Arceus, which is the plus side of paralyzing it, but if you're not even going to try and attack, then Yeah. You've got to try and predict the Lugia switch in, try and burn it off. Or if you have Toxic, which you could, because this could be a Toxic Ho, taking some inspiration from Sun and Moon. As Gengar comes in, and that is good for Serga, because now, with that Arceus paralyzed, Hex Gengar can put in work against that Arceus form. And, okay, so we see it's Spadef Groudon, it can just get up his rocks here. If this isn't Toxic or T-Wave, I will laugh, but he doesn't want to risk it and goes hard into Gengar. Okay. I don't know if I agree with that play with Blim, because there's a possibility that Arceus could have just attacked there if he was predicting the switch into something like the Klefki. Just to try and take advantage of the fact... Predicting Toxic is the main thing. As he goes for Brave Birds, no, I don't think that was the right play. And we see that it's actually Banded Ho-Oh, so I don't even think that that's going to be that effective at breaking, because, yeah, it'll be consistently doing 50-odd% to Lugia, and then not much else, because that's the way it works. Lugia just kind of just bulks things. He had no reason not to Brave Bird again. Yeah, he didn't have a reason not to. He tried to force the Lugia to roost, or just to waste his PP, but I would have thought the Lugia would roost there, so I can kind of understand why he would do that, as he actually just sacks off his Klefki. Through Arceus Water, send up Landorus. Ground come back, go Gengar. Why not Lugia? Is this like a known team that I just forgot? And it's Explosion or some shit? Groudon comes out as Gengar comes in, so that's rocks completely off the field for Blim forever in this game. But he can go into Lando T here. I don't understand why he would sack off his Klefki. Klefki could have been useful just sponging up Toxics, paralyzing Gengar potentially. And Lugia takes the, well, doesn't take it, avoids the EQ, and now Lugia can just Whirlwind. It doesn't want to just give Klefki the free switch. Or he can be smart and go into Primal Kyogre, because literally Serga just loses to Primal Kyogre. That is a better way of doing things. Yeah, so down goes the Klefki. In comes Arceus, and Kyogre switches out because it's just not worth it. You can just go into Gengar and trap the only remaining thing that can take a Kyogre Scald, and presumably he has Destiny Bond if he's going for Taunt there. But he doesn't even need to, because... does he? Well, I mean, he didn't use it if he did have it, so... And it was in fact a roll, as I was thinking it was a roll, and then I saw that it did 35% or something, and Arceus goes down, so now literally everything gets OHKO'd by Kyogre's Scald, and Blim has no reason not to just go into Arceus Water here. I was about to say Lugia, but then I realized, nah, you don't really want Lugia getting trapped by Gengar. And Hex will do a lot to this Arceus, as it gets off meaningless damage. If Gengar's not dead, then it doesn't really matter, because it can't take a hit from anything else on the team anyway. So yeah, it goes into Groudon here just to go for presumably the Precipice Blade, just try and get a kill on it. As Landorus comes out, and Blim actually chooses to get up his rocks. That's a good play. I would have gone for Precipice Blades there, just not wanting to risk it, but equally we did just see that the Gengar had done 25% front Hex earlier on in the game, and it would not have mattered. So I can actually understand why Blim did that, because that was actually the better play, and I should have just thought about it for a little bit longer. As Ho-Oh comes in, as the Lugia Ice Beams, this is banded Ho-Oh, and it can't break a Lugia, so he just sacks off the Groudon, knowing he can just get in his... why is the Lando sack? I guess, no, that's a good play, because he was trying to catch the Lugia staying in, And if the Ho-Oh went for Brave Bird that turn, he could have then gone out into Kyogre. If Kyogre went down to the Brave Bird, he could have gone into Oh, no, you wouldn't go into Kyogre there. No. You'd go back into Lugia, I guess. Well... Okay, let's just figure out that turn just so I can say it a bit better. It's at 37% now. If it Brave Birds and kills off the Groudon, then, well, it's Brave Birded and killed off the Groudon. And more importantly, it's taken a little bit of recoil damage, not a lot, and not enough to put it in Sludge Wave area either. But then Blim can go back out into Lugia. There's nothing stopping him from doing that because of the rocks, and can just fire off an Ice Beam. If Ho stays in, then it is fine for Blim, because after that, then Kyogre will just go down to... not Kyogre. Ho will just go down to the recoil, and if in some... if you did sack off the Landorus, then the HP that the Ho would be at after coming back in on Stealth Rocks would mean that it would be KO in range of being KO'd by Gengar, and so he could have just sacked off the Lugia in that situation. So yeah, I do agree with both of their plays there. But Blim had the game, and he has the game now as well. Kyogre is just, well, it's not going to clean because Ho outspeeds it, but the recoil damage means that Ho dies anyway. So, yep, that is the series between Blim and Serga, and I hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time. Peace.